Hello, welcome to Tapping Tuesday. Sorry, I started a minute late. I actually was on the screen and I clicked the wrong button. So I was in sheer panic the whole minute that you were waiting, but we're here now and it's good. Hi, my name is Steele and I am going to guide you for the next hour through a technique or a set of techniques that we call EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. I'll go through a brief explanation of how we do that here, and then we'll jump right into it because the objective here is for you to experience what EFT is. It's also called tapping. If you've seen this or this, that's what we're going to do here. There's a lot of really great statistics about it, but knowing statistics and reading about outcomes can be really confirming. It can give you a lot of confidence in what you're trying, but the validation really comes in trying it. So that's what we're doing here today. After I chat with you just a little bit, if you are interested in all of the science, if you want to chat more about questions that you have, we won't do a lot of that here. But we do have a channel here on YouTube. It is EFT Universe. Just put that in the search bar. Multiple playlists will pop up, hundreds of videos for you to peruse. And you can also just email me, which I'll give you my email here in just a minute. There are a few ways that you can contribute to today, should you choose. First is just by being here. So by following along, tapping along, you will begin to have your own experience with tapping, as simple as that. If you would like to be a little bit more interactive, we do have a live chat that goes the entire hour that we're here. I check it as often as I can through the tapping session, and I incorporate as many ideas as I can as well. If we happen to be slightly off topic for you, I do give you suggestions to try and have you customize it as well as it can be to you specifically. One thing I love about this set of techniques is that it's meant to be empowering. It's meant to be client-led because all of these shifts are happening between different parts of your brain. And you can learn more about that if you check them out. But because of that, what I am trying to be here is a guide for you, just to offer you support and maybe a pathway for you to have your own experience with this technique. Now, if you are new to it, don't worry. You'll pick it up by the end of the session. Just follow along with me. I do it slightly differently than maybe other sessions that you've done. I have reasons for this. I tend to stay on one tapping spot for a very long time. Sometimes I'll tap through all of the spots, but I want to be very boring for you to watch. I don't want you to worry about our engagement. I want you to be focusing on your engagement in your brain. So I'm here if you get lost, if you need a little bit of direction, but otherwise I want you to go with this, to go through the tapping spots as fast or as slow as it feels comfortable for you. Skip a spot if it doesn't feel good for you. And the reason why this is possible and it's okay to do it this way is because as long as you are on a tapping spot, one of the acupoints that we use, you will have a successful EFT session. Each acupoint has its own benefits, so going through them can definitely be a really positive support to do for your session, but you don't have to. There's a particular brain stimulation that happens when you tap over an acupoint. And that's all that we're looking to do with EFT. So one spot is perfectly fine. Let's see, what else? Oh, so you can add in the chat. When you add to the chat, it can be anything. It can be something that you're looking to receive, something that you have that you don't want anymore. It could be a pet peeve, something that you're kind of like, well, I don't know, this is coming up for me today, or something you're like, I have been trying to get rid of this memory my entire life. And it can be something mild. It doesn't have to be like the biggest thing in the world. And if that feels too vulnerable, then you can always email it to me and I can bring it up the following week anonymously. I do have one such instance for today. And also that way, if you email me, we can also chat back and forth about it. Because this is a place where you learn to experience tapping. It's not where necessarily everything about that aspect or that circumstance gets resolved in this 1 hour. It can happen, but it's not common. Usually it takes a little bit more engagement than that. But this will be a bold start. My email, should you care to email, is Fable, Fable, at EFTuniverse.com. And it is in the chat up at the very top if you want to look at it for reference. Okay, let me think. Did I say everything? I think so. All right, I'm going to say hi really fast in the chat, and then I will share with you what our community member has presented for us to include in our tapping today, and then we'll get grounded and get going. Okay. Hi, Mary. Hi, Blast Scout. Hi, Zarina. Hi, Greg. Hello, Nancy. Hi, Danette. Hello, Jordan. Oh, so happy to be here. I can't believe I found this amazing channel over 2 years ago and I keep coming back. 2 years. Wow. I can't believe that either. Thank you for putting that up. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you. Hello, beautiful Kylie. Hello, Trisha. And hi, Jerry. Alrighty. So the community suggestions, let me try that again. Our community member that asked for a suggestion to be shared today, I'm actually going to pick up my phone and read it because I feel like I'm not translating words super well right now. So if we could incorporate not feeling safe with people due to too many bad interactions. And I think this is really valid in multiple ways. The way that this community member expressed it is very broad, right? And would suggest probably pretty young experiences of becoming aware that you're not safe, because kids aren't aware that they're not safe, right? That comes with growing up and having more of an awareness of your surroundings. It kind of hopefully are eased into that as you also gain empowerment around your surroundings. Not always the case. In fact, a lot of times it's not the case. Very, very harrowing statistics on how often childhood trauma happens. But when that happens, when we have the awareness without the empowerment, that sense of doom and unsafety is the outcome to that. And it can happen in other scenarios as well. Say you felt secure in your childhood, but you had a really awful experience with the dentist. So now every time you go into a dental office or any type of medical setting, maybe you had a bad experience buying your first car. You really got duped, or getting your oil changed. And so now every time you go into the mechanic, you feel really vulnerable. You don't feel safe because you're like, this person could really, dupe me and I wouldn't know the difference. There are a lot of ways that vulnerabilities can feel present between you and another person or a profession that you're approaching. So I think that's highly valid, and we definitely can throw that in what we do today. Okay, so let's go ahead and get grounded, and go ahead and put your suggestions into the chat at any point, and we'll get tapping for our session today. Alrighty, so let's focus in on our bodies and just notice that you have a body. There it is. And as you're noticing that you have a body, become aware of how this body is feeling. Is there any pain? Is there tension? Is there discomfort? And just acknowledge it as much as what feels comfortable for you. We're not trying to address anything. We're not trying to judge anything. We're just noticing. That's all. Just becoming aware. Now, if there's something that you feel like, oh, things feel tight, I want to yawn. I want to take a deep breath. Go ahead and let your body do that. If you're wanting to stretch or constrict, if you're needing to go grab a blanket, if you need to go to the bathroom, go get a drink of water, something that's very simple that you can absolutely tell your body, oh, I heard you, and I want you to feel more at ease right now. Go ahead and give that to yourself and just see if shifting the position or just rolling a few joints helps you to feel a little bit more appreciative and connected to this body that you are currently in. And let's go ahead and take a breath. Okay. Now, as you're noticing this body, notice It has boundaries. Your fingers stop. They do not extend into the ether. They have a certain shape and size, as do your elbows, your shoulders, your knees, your ankles and toes. Your back has a certain shape to it. Your waist has a certain circumference. This is a finite space in which to exist. Let's take another breath. And now let's turn our attention to our consciousness, our spirit, our soul, whatever word feels comfortable for you. And notice that is not finite, that your consciousness can travel all the way back in your timeline. You can focus and think about any life that you've experienced and transport your consciousness there, as well as transport it into the supposed future. You can even create fake scenarios in your head and transport your consciousness there. There's so many places and times for your consciousness to be in. As you're noticing this, become aware of how much of your consciousness is in your body right now. How much of your infinite ability is in your finite space. And just come up with a number. It's okay if it bounces around a little bit. It's okay to just select a number. You don't have to be spot on with it. And as you have that number, let's just say it's 50% for ease. Go ahead and just become aware of where that other 50% is. Whatever part is not in your finite body. Is it in the future with something that you're worried about or excited for, that you're thinking about, anticipating? Is it in your past, working on something, trying to release something or figure something out or ruminating over? Is it somewhere else, just dissociated, just not wanting to be here right now? And as we're noticing this, just take another breath. And as you notice the parts of you that are not present in your body right now, notice that there is a connection. You can see it as a string, a stream of light. It can just be metaphorical. It doesn't have to be a physical connection that you can see, but notice that it is a connection. And if you feel comfortable, as you connect to all of these parts of you that are out and about, invite them to be present and say, hey, we're about to do something really cool. How about you come be here for this? And there will be parts of you that will accept and you'll feel more present. There will be parts of you that'll say, no, it's really important that I stay here. I just want to stay here. That's okay too. Just reinforce that connection and say, cool, I will stay in connection with you. I will communicate with you everything that we're about to engage with so that you also receive the benefit, even if you're not fully present. And just feel that presence coming back into this finite space. Feel that your body filling up with your consciousness. Let's take another breath. Alrighty. And let me check the chat. Zarina, my throat chakra is unhappy today. Oh no. I would say that is something that we could tap on in like a physical sense, talking about the physical body. I know chakra is an energetic connection to our flow and existence, but easy to tap on in the same sort of structure. So we could definitely do a physical tapping for today. Oh, I see now. My setting was on top chat rather than live chat, so I may have missed some messages. I'm so sorry. If you thought I looked over you, I didn't. YouTube wasn't giving me all of the messages. I'm looking back through them now. Okay, I think most of them came through. Okay, and blast out. Faced with another decision on my healing journey, trying to decide about taking a recommended medication, working with fear and indecision. Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. I think we could definitely tie that in with physical body. Let's go ahead and start there. I feel like the concern about safety could start to be a little bit loosened with tapping on the physical body as well. So we'll go ahead and start there for today. And then we can zero in on that safety because I think that's very relatable in just a minute. Hi, Tanya. I'm glad you're here too. All right. So let's go ahead and start tapping. Okay, angry, shame at myself for what I have achieved up until now. Okay, so Valeria, I'm so sorry if I am mispronouncing your name. Could you give me a little bit more detail on that? Do you mean that you haven't achieved everything that you expected you would by this time? Do you mean you feel like you achieved more in your past and now you're struggling and you're judging that about yourself? Oh, you said yes. Okay, so you haven't achieved what you expected to by this time. Okay, thank you for that. That's fair to feel, I think, especially with the expectations that are kind of put on people, most of humanity, that we're not taught how to manage the differences between support and expectation and execution and decisions. And yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. I don't think you're alone in that at all. All right, going back to, let's go to the physical body. So go ahead and consider something about your body that you register. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a physical issue. It could be something emotional that you're experiencing, but you feel it in your body. You know, you feel a clenching in your gut. You feel fear of a ball of fear in your throat. You feel anger in your arms. It could be different than an emotion. It could just be a word or a person that you feel connected to in a way that you don't want anymore when you think about that, but you feel a response in your body. Okay. As I consider this reaction, this circumstance that currently affects me in my physical body, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now, as I focus in on this issue that I very much feel in my physical body, and all it does right now is amplify how much I dislike it, I still choose right now to deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now, as I consider this, all I have are problems and no solutions. Even with that, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. I wonder, why would I do that? Why would I say these words? Why would I choose to dedicate energy to accepting myself before anything is resolved? Maybe it makes sense to me. Maybe it makes no sense to me, and I don't even like saying it. Whether or not it makes sense at this time, I choose to hold space to explore it, be curious, rather than judgmental. Okay, why? Why do I say I accept myself when I'm just talking about my problems that I don't like, that I don't want, that I don't know how to get rid of? I wonder, is it fair for me to tie my acceptance of myself to my problems? Yes. No. I don't know. Hmm. If I tied my acceptance of myself to my problems, does that mean that I believe that my worth as a person is also tied to my problems? Hmm. If this is true, I wonder, how could this be a problem for me? Well, if having no problems means being perfect, where nothing is going wrong and I'm beyond judgment, that's really hard to reach and even harder to maintain. And wouldn't that also mean that anytime I'm trying to expand myself, to grow, learn new things, become a better person, become better at something, I open myself up for not being worth anything because I'm at a place where I will make mistakes, because it won't be perfect, because I'm learning. Oh no. Does that mean I don't value learning? Does that mean I have a fear of allowing myself to try? As I consider how my beliefs about myself and my worth are connected to trying, I choose to deeply and completely accept myself. I might know where I got the idea that I needed to be perfect. I may not really be sure. But whether or not I know where it came from, I'm here right now. And no one's telling me what I have to be anymore but me. So what do I want? What if I gave myself permission to connect my try to my value, my try to my worth? That because I'm trying, that's magnificent. Because I'm not giving up, I'm a rock star, even if I don't have my solution yet. but I'm still trying. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. What if that's where I allowed myself to feel so good about who I am? Okay, maybe I can give that a try. So I can deeply and completely accept myself as I have this problem. But I wonder, what can I do about this problem? What can I do about this physical issue that is disruptive in my body? What I need is a solution. This issue, this issue in my body, a solution, wanting a solution for my body. Well, I need to find the perfect one. Do I? I would like to. That would be amazing. But do I need to? Do I have to tie it to that word? I have to make decisions. And that's hard. And I don't know the outcome yet. And I might be able to change my mind and try again. I might just have to live with the consequences of what I chose, good or bad. But maybe, instead of threatening myself with fear about making the wrong choice, I can offer comfort and love and support to myself for doing the absolute best that I can as I consider my choices. Because isn't it true that either way, there's going to be an outcome? And I have a certain degree of control of that outcome. But right now, I have complete decision making over how I treat myself. I have to make this choice. I get to move forward and I'll see what happens. But what if right now I chose to love the heck out of myself because I am here trying, because I am seeking, because I want better that's meaningful. And I choose to acknowledge myself for that. And I will continue to do my best and seek the most ideal outcome. But now, as I do that, I choose to do it with gratitude towards myself. I choose to do it with support and good feelings as I acknowledge how great it is that I'm even trying. This issue, my try, my ability to show up, my gratitude. And as I continue on and do the best that I can, I truly do deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, go ahead and pause tapping and take a deep breath. Take just a moment and consider how you're feeling right now. Think about the issue that you had in your mind and think about how it felt when you started tapping versus how it feels now. Do you feel more calm? Do you feel more space, more happiness, more possibility, more ease in your body? Do you feel tingly? Do you feel tired? Do you feel energized? Were you yawning, sighing, crying, giggling? Did you have any insights? Were you during that tap? If so, those are all signs that as you communicated with your conscious brain to your subconscious parts of your brain, where all of those templates are stored, there's something that they connected on and that your brain said, yes, I like where you're going with this. Let's shift it to that. And now it will continue to shape that template to what you just gave to it. And it will continue to build on that, even though you're no longer tapping on it. So good job. All right, I just saw some comments come in. I'm going to go through those and we'll jump right into the next one. Hello, Hira. Okay, cravings for binging. What'd you say for those cravings? There is something that comes right before the cravings, like maybe are the cravings a distraction from something else? Do you have any other thoughts or connections around that? Hello, DL. Since my son ended his life 2 years ago, that proves I deserve any bad things that happen to me. Every negative thought I have about myself, I will never love and accept myself again, and I don't want. How could I feel great about myself when I couldn't alleviate his suffering? Wow, that is very understandable grief that you're feeling. And also showing some templates of ideals that you may have been given about your level of responsibility for another person. Now, granted, as a parent, that template is amplified, and there absolutely are spaces for that, where particularly when children are young, we do have a lot of government over helping them to regulate outside of themselves. I had different reasons why I couldn't say that I could completely accept myself when I started tapping, but I had very similar feelings. And I would love it if you want to email me. We can chat about this more in depth. But something that I can offer to you right here and now is that you don't have to use that phrase. If that phrase is overwhelming for you, what we're looking to do is just separate what you're tapping on from your current moment and feelings. Make it two spaces that your brain is considering so that then it can start to piece things differently. You do not have to say, I never say love and accept myself because that's not a part of clinical EFT. Clinical EFT is I deeply and completely accept myself. If that phrase is not there for you, you can say, even though I am having this experience, I'm hoping to find a better way to feel. Even though I'm actively searching for a different perspective. Anything to say, I recognize that this is a thing that I'm dealing with, but I also, something that's contradictory. If those phrases that I just offered don't work for you, let me know, and I will assist you in finding something that feels solid and grounded for you to tap on, that feels true for you with where you are. And my heart goes out to you. Oh, yay. I'm glad that you're feeling more grounded, Black Scout. Yay, Christina. Good job. Yay, Raji. I hope I said your name right. Zarina, I tapped on my throat, both hurt and felt good simultaneously. Probably moving that energy that can feel sore, to move a lot of congested energy. Tonya, loving, compassionate hug. I'm so glad. Yawning and feeling more grounded. Great, Lou. Good job. And our community reaching out to you, DL. Lots of love for you in the comments. If you're not looking at those, lots of people are sending you thoughts and care. Alrighty, let's go into fear of people. And let's talk a little bit about where this circumstance can come up. It could be a particular template of person where driving, you are fine with people until that person is in a car and then you're like, because you had a bad experience, maybe a car accident. It could be something specific like truck drivers, semi trucks, sports car drivers. It could be, I already mentioned like professional settings of like a dentist, a chiropractor, a medical doctor, a surgeon. Those are all very vulnerable places, where we are taught and expected to pretty much blanket trust the person in front of us. And we're trusting them with our lives, literally, in some circumstances. It can be with other professions. It could be a gender, that causes you to feel uncomfortable or unsafe. It could be age, even though you may be an adult now, you may still feel like, that child that was traumatized. And so even when you see a certain adult or a certain setting with adults, you feel like that child again. And it can be something even where you were just embarrassed, like if you went to perform at a concert and you forgot your music piece or your dance or your line and you got humiliated, because of that. And you felt like your cast members or your audience was unkind. So now every time you go into like a theater type setting, those people don't feel safe. And so you have a negative reaction there. There's a lot of opportunity to apply this. So how do we go about feeling safe? How do we go about releasing that? I have some things I'm going to offer to you. Some things will be more pointed than others. So just, set down what doesn't work for you, but really pay attention to what comes up for you, even if it doesn't seem connected. It can be a person, a word, an experience, a smell, any of your sensory organs that offer you information as we're tapping on this. That's a clue. And I definitely recommend writing it down, recording it somehow, because you'll think you'll remember. And it's very rare that people do, because you're so involved in what's happening in the moment. It's very easy for those details to kind of wash away as you continue to move on. So, okay, with all of that, there's the disclaimer. Let's go ahead and start tapping. And with this also, usually we don't close our eyes except for very particular templates of clinical EFT. Since we are likely headed into something that has history to it, if you feel like you can focus on it more by closing your eyes, I would say this is a time where that would be permissible. And if you don't want to close your eyes, it doesn't feel safe enough, you can just rest your eyes in a downward position, just to where you're looking generally at the ground as far as down feels comfortable, without straining your eyes to look like as far down as you can, if that makes sense. As I consider this discomfort that I feel about people, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now I'm aware of this discomfort and I'm not sure what to do with it yet, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now, as I focus on this issue, this pain point of how I feel about other people, and it's a lot, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. And I hold space to be curious. All of my feelings are valid. All of my feelings have purpose. But at this time, I allow my feelings to be while I explore in a space of curiosity. Fear. Fear of people. I wonder, when did I learn that people are scary? When did I have knowledge that because of people, I am not safe? And if you don't want to focus in on a specific instance, please don't make yourself. You can focus in on your body. How does that feel in your body? Do you feel the fear in your chest when you think about when did people become not safe? I may be very clear about when this fear happened for me. I may not be entirely certain about how this came to be. But whether or not I'm aware of the exact origin or origins for these feelings, I wonder, can I change it? Can I not be so afraid? Yes. No. I don't know. Part of me feels I'm meant to be afraid. Of course, I'm afraid. There's so much to prove. People are terrifying. They're rude and they're mean and they're vicious and they are predatory. All of those templates are correct. They're right. So if I were to release fear about it, I would be delusional because that fear is real. These problems do exist. People are awful. Even though part of me knows this to be true, with all of who I am. And I agree with that truth. I continue to hold space to see if there is a way for me to feel safe. I wonder, is the way that I feel the way how everybody feels? Does everybody have this fear? Is this a universal truth? Yes. No. I don't know. Well, if it were a universal truth, then wouldn't we all just be absolutely terrified of each other all the time? How would we ever make friends? How would we ever feel um, confidence in any sort of teaching that we received or treatment that we were given? So there is some trust somewhere, but I'm deeply confused about how to know. I'm deeply confused about how to clarify safe people. My fear, my fear of people. My safety. My safety or my safe place with people. I wonder, when I consider my boundaries, the rules that apply for whether or not people are safe, how old am I when I consider this? I'm not bringing up memories. I'm not thinking of experiences. I'm just curious about how old I think I am. How old is this template of consideration that I'm working with? So go ahead and pick an age. And you may have zeroed in immediately on an age, and you may not be quite sure. If you're not quite sure, that's okay. Do the best you can guess. It may be a guess that's emotionally charged. It may be a guess that you intuitively decide. It could be something that you logically conclude. I had this experience at that age. That's probably when it happened. All of those are great answers. And whatever age you choose, trust that your brain will know what to do with that. Okay. I choose this age. I wonder, do I govern my life from my thoughts and experiences in other areas from this age? Do I pay my bills? Do I drive my car? Do I plan my work schedule, sleep schedule according to this age? I wonder, Why would I choose to use the template of something so important, something so pervasive as safety, to come from this particular age? Well, maybe that was when I was the most wise. Maybe that's when my intelligence and knowingness peaked, and it was just the best choice that I've ever had. Or maybe it's stuck. Maybe I'm not choosing to keep it there so much as it needs help. I need help. There's some part of me that's saying, I don't want to be here, but I don't know how to get past it. Hmm. Well, I wonder, how did I grow and shift in other ways in my life? I learned how to drive, may have learned how to cook. I may have learned a vocation. I may have gone to higher education. I've learned how to care for myself. How did I do that? Maybe I did it by giving myself permission to gather information, to find ways for it to feel okay, like I had the tools and the support that I needed for what I was looking to receive. How can I do that for this part of me now that wants to feel safe, that wants a different perspective but can't? Finding a solution, finding a pathway to yes. Maybe there's healing that needs to happen. And maybe there are instances that would be helpful for me to tap specifically on. But I wonder, since this is me, since this is a part of me, and present me knows that I can be a safe place for that part of me, can I give myself permission to be a safer place for my past self? Yes. No. I don't know. Whether or not I'm confident in this, I hold space to give it a try. All right. How do I do that? Maybe it's as simple as blipping back into time. I'm not resolving anything. I'm not discussing anything. I'm not approaching anything. I'm not confronting anything. I am on a rescue mission, and I am just going to blip back into time, scoop up this part of me that's asking for help, that's asking for relief, that's asking to no longer be stuck in the past. And I'm going to bring that part of me here right now. It'll take me 2 seconds. Go ahead and do it. Feel yourself blip. You can have a travel machine, a space machine. It can just be you and a magic wand or poof of dust or a beam of light. Just go grab that part of yourself and bring them to this moment. And they're okay. They know what's happening. They're not scared about being here. In fact, you notice they feel relief. They feel different because you're different. Because you have created a safer place to exist. And they immediately acknowledge that. And then as you see this past part of yourself now in a safer place, let them know this is where we are now. You don't ever have to go back there. Maybe we'll talk about it sometime if we feel like we need to, but you don't have to stay there until all of that's resolved. You get to be here now. It's the whole reason I worked so hard to be here. All of me gets to be here. But what does that mean as far as moving forward? What does that mean about feeling safe in my present and future? Maybe that will resolve feeling safe or feeling unsafe from my past. Well, I still have knowledge that there are people who are not safe. And it's okay for me to acknowledge that as truth. But I wonder, have I ever considered also acknowledging that there are people who are safe? That there are people who protect safety. There are people who make entire careers and life purposes out of being safe for people just like me. If I'm going to acknowledge that there are unsafe people, it is only fair and right and logical for me to also acknowledge that there are safe people. So how do I tell the difference? How do I know? Well, I may not know at first. But if I don't know, how can I be safe? That is an excellent question. Maybe I give myself permission to have specific questions that I ask myself or I ask this other person. And that helps me to know. Maybe I have specific actions or a timeline that I stand to that also allows me to have the time and the perspective that I need to feel safe. Maybe I explore people who have already figured this out and I go read a book or I go take a workshop or I attend a class where I can learn more about really practical questions and steps forward about how to feel safe and where my empowerment with that lies. My safety. Being a safe place for myself. holding boundaries to be safe, giving myself permission to learn, giving myself permission to gain safety as a skill, allowing myself to find a teacher who can guide me to understand what safe is. And as I learn these concepts, these action steps, these skills, I may find lots of safe people around me. I may find not very many safe people around me at all. But whether or not I see them immediately, I acknowledge that first, I am a safe person for me. And I allow that to be enough for now as I continue to learn and discover other safe people. And as I do this, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, go ahead and pause tapping and take a deep breath. Now take just a moment and consider how you're feeling when you thought about unsafe people at the beginning of the tap, and how you feel about it now. And if you are feeling more grounded, more confident, more empowered, more inspired, if you're feeling more complete, more healed within yourself, if you were sighing, crying, laughing, feeling flushes of emotion, flushes of temperature, all of those are signs that your brain was working really hard at rewriting the template that it works off of. And what that means is you will start to see things and experience things differently, consciously, because your subconscious brain has agreed to filter your experience of life differently. And that is so powerful. So good job. All right, we are a little bit over time already. Let's do like a 45-second tap just in case you feel a little bit not quite complete, because that was a little bit of a deeper tap that we just did. So I'm going to tap here. Whew, this tapping session was deep, and it brought up a lot of things for me. But now it's over. But this community isn't over. This tapping session is done, but my healing isn't done. This session created a lot of love, of hope, of connection, compassion, care, and kindness that I got to be a part of with people all around the world. I'm a part of that. And while I'm not tapping anymore on releasing, all of that gets to come with me. And I choose to allow it to continue to flow and weave as I focus on other things for the rest of my day. And as I do this and continue to hold space for the other things as they settle and find their proper place, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, pause and take a breath. Well done. Good job. Okay. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope that you had a wonderful experience. At the very least, I hope that you feel seen and heard and valid. I care very deeply for you, and it means a lot to me that you take time out of your day to be here and to be a part of this community. So thank you. I love you, and I hope that I get to see you next week. But if I don't, know that you are always thought of and cared for. And you're welcome back as often as you can make it. The lives are always posted on our channel. Just if you miss a week, the recording will always be there for you. And I post a video every Friday, generally answering questions that you send in through the week. So thank you for all of your contributions, and take care. Mwah. I'll see you soon.